Hello everyone and welcome back to the NPC Dungeon. This week I have a very special story episode prepared. It's all about the end of the first campaign that I ever started pulling stories from on this channel. Feel free to go back and watch those other episodes from the playlist that campaign is in. I'll link this video to that playlist right about now. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and start. So what happened? Well, my players just traveled to a city to return powerful artifacts they had found throughout their journeys to the patron they had made earlier on in this game. But upon arriving, they found only a heap of vines and plant growth overrunning what appeared to be a long-dead city. While here, they learned this man perhaps wasn't all that he appeared to be. They ended up befriending an order of priests who still lived here, who told them who this man really was. How did they know? Well, he was the leader of the cult who had overtaken the city, and these priests wanted nothing more than to take him down. They had gathered together the old gnome who had led a tribe of gnomes that my players had run into before, a noble one of my players was connected with, and the leader of the mercenary troop that Luna had run into before, and several other characters they'd met along the way, many of which were important in the city. The time was now, so they marched down to where the cult had been based, took down some of the guard giants along the way, as some of the friends who joined them nearly died in the process, but my players wouldn't let their sacrifice and injuries be in vain. They burst in through the door and saw an almost completely empty room. Only one man stood in it, flanked by two demons who materialized from the shadows, the same demons that my players accidentally summoned in the beginning of the episode under the Tower of the Necromancer. He knew they were coming, and everyone else had already fled. But this man was familiar. He was the same one who sent them on their quest and led this cult, and it was now time to take him down. They rolled initiative and fought, but were unable to land a hit on him. Eventually, after taking a beating, they surrendered and were forced to hand the demons their items. But Thane was fine and he was happy. Remember, he was part of this cult. This is what he wanted, and he knew what was going on. The man they were fighting wasn't in this room. This was simply an illusion that none of them were able to see through. And Luna, well, she wasn't done. All she cared about was a child this man's cult had kidnapped from her. The half-fiend she had adopted not too long ago. He promised to reunite them and then promptly vanished. At least the city was clear, and the individuals that the priests had gathered promised to rebuild, leading it themselves and appointing the party as their champions. The players helped, but had more work to do. They headed out on their way, but we haven't had a session for that campaign since, which kind of sucks because I had more planned, but you know how these things go. Scheduling conflicts happen, people become busy, and this ends up happening. But I still want to run a second part to that, so I might in the future. So be on the lookout for that one if I ever start telling stories from it. And I'm realizing now there are still stories from this campaign that I'll probably want to go back over and tell in the future. This one ended up being a little on the shorter side, but I still hope that you found it enjoyable. And as always, thanks for watching. Feel free to check out this week's other video. It's all about the dreaded phrase, "It's what my character would do." And be sure to come back next week where I'll talk a little bit about mysteries and even tell a story about a mystery that I ran a while ago. So until then, let's learn something.